Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. That's me.
Man, I thought I was crazy. I'm like, holy fuck, what's going on? I just heard you a minute ago. I didn't touch anything.
That's me. That's all me. Silence the buddy finally. Yeah, Todd. Up yours, Todd. Anyway.
You're going to have to repeat all that because I can't read lips.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I was just saying, welcome to Cannabis and Conspiracies. He's the cannabis. I'm the conspiracy.
Shit. You said more than that.
Yeah, that's close enough. I was just like talking about you. That's like, is something wrong with your phones there, man? And I had mine muted, so that was on me.
Yeah,
it's
try
conspiracy,
to unmute you, but it says you cannot unmute somebody else.
Who the fuck do you think you are? It's conspiracy, man. It's a conspiracy. Anyway, I was missing there for a second. Speaking of missing persons, segue. There we go.
Yeah, we're a little short-staffed today. Just me and Bunny.
Yep. You'll just have to overlook a little bit, a few issues. You know, the brain wasn't able to make it today. So anyway, all right. Today we're talking about missing persons. Talking about a phenomenon that's happened all throughout human history, and it continues all the way up till today, even with modern technology. So we're going to talk about a few famous cases, talk about types of missing persons, and then talk about some specific conspiracies surrounding some of these things. Anyway, so what you got, Melbot? What's first thing up, man?
I was going to talk about Colorado, missing people. Right now, right behind me, these missing children were 17 just from my area last year alone. And that's just children.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how children just seem to just go missing, especially in urban areas. And, not rural areas. We tend to know we kind of keep hold of our children, but in urban areas, man, they just like, they seem to just like disappear. A lot more concentration. I think that's where the white vans all circulate. There we go. What we got here? 17 children went missing. Aurora across the Colorado during the summer of 2021. That's the summer of 2021.
Yeah, this is my area. I'm like around the edge of Denver and Aurora.
Yeah,
so these kids just went missing just in one summer.
Wow, goodness gracious. Yeah, because our southern border is wide open right now. There's a lot of speculation that the human traffickers have really infiltrated the United States, and there's a pipeline going down south. So that's just, these disappearances have definitely increased greatly over the last little while. I know that the Trump administration really was cracking down on child trafficking. There seemed to be like arrests every weekend. They just weren't being reported. But
it's just crazy. Like it gives even a list of a breakdown of the children here.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
Parker's right near me. These are just little kids. I mean, there's probably some sick fuck out there snatching them off the streets. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's different kinds of disappearances. Like I was talking to you earlier before we started the show. We got kids that just get snatched off the streets.
Yeah.
And then there's another phenomenon where people go to national parks across the country, and these national parks are everywhere. And it's weird phenomenon because you might be with a group of people, And the first person might go ahead a little bit, like a few feet, 20 feet, wants to be the guy, who's first, and and then that guy might end up going missing, just disappears and never see him again. Or the person who was last in the crowd, who was last in the line, might go missing. And it's very strange because some of these people, have been on these trails multiple times, and there's just no trace of them. And then they'll get a search party, look for these people, and then they'll see that they'll search all the grounds over and over again, and they won't see anything. And then days later, the body will appear in an area that was searched many, many times, and there's no way, like we're on a trail next to a log, somewhere very obvious. And these people are then found dead, and very strange. Or like a child is found on the cliff, where it's not possible for him to get to that cliff. He's a 4-year-old child, can't even tie his shoes. How's he going to get to that area of the cliff, or wherever the mountain, wherever the kid went missing? But this happens not just in America; it happens all over the world in these parks where people just go missing, not just children. Yeah. It's just a strange phenomenon, and sometimes the weather changes. It always seems to be around a body of water. There's this guy named David Pilates. He did this show on YouTube. It's called Missing 411. And I don't know if you're familiar with Coast to Coast. It's a major radio show that's on the AM. It's also on the internet. And it's been on since the 90s. Art Bell used to be the original host. And then later on, George Norrie took over. And it has multiple guest hosts. And David Pilates is from Colorado. He was a police officer. And, he got into these missing cases. Just very strange. It just didn't add up. And he wrote all these books called Missing 411. And he's been a guest on that Coast to Coast show many, many times, discussing different cases. So sometimes you can go on YouTube, you can catch some of these. Now, I was going to play a video. This is the weirdest thing of all. This one boy, he said that, that he went missing, but then he actually came back. He's one of the few that went missing and came back. And he had this weird story that he was like brought to this cave, and there was like maybe clones or robots looking like people in the cave, and it's just a strange story. Just listen to this. It's crazy.
This is the strange story of the little boy and his robot grandma. On October 1st, 2010, 3.5-year-old John Doe, as he's being reported, and his relatives were camping by a popular fly fishing location near Mount Shasta. Around 6 p.m., the child's parents realized their son had suddenly gone missing. According to Mr. Doe, his youngster was there 1 second and gone the next. They scoured the area he had last been seen in, complete panic-stricken horror. After hours of feverishly searching, the little boy still had not turned up. Now desperate, the distraught father decided to call local police deputies and United States Forest Service officers. Rescue personnel combed the forest well into the night, yet there was no sign of the toddler. 5 hours after John had disappeared, authorities found him laid down on the brush directly next to a trail that had been previously searched. He appeared to be in a dazed, semi-conscious state. Mr. and Mrs. Doe attributed this to exhaustion and were simply grateful their little one returned physically unharmed. Medical staff gave full clearance, so the freshly reunited family were permitted to return home. Everyone's lives quickly went back to normal, yet only a few weeks later, the small boy would share a disturbing tale about his terrifying ordeal. One day, little John's grandmother, Kathy, who he called Cappy, was playing with him. Suddenly, he looked towards her and said that he didn't like the other grandma, Cappy. Confused, she asked him what exactly he meant. Little John explained that while he was lost in the woods, he'd been taken deep inside a mountainside cave by a woman he thought was Grandma Cappy. She led him into a cool, dark, spider-infested room filled with motionless humanoid robots. Scattered across the floor were dusty purses, guns, and other various types of weapons. As John anxiously faced his grandmother, he noticed an eerie light radiating from her head. In this moment, he realized she was not his real granny. Grandma Cappy firmly instructed the boy to defecate on a piece of paper. When he refused, she became increasingly agitated and repeatedly requested him to do so. Eventually, the grandma look-alike succumbed to frustration and moved on to a different topic. Allegedly, she informed little John that he had been planted in his mother's womb and was actually from outer space. Shortly after this extraordinary account, she took the boy back outside to a thicket and advised him to wait for help. Upon hearing this disturbing story from her grandson, an outraged Grandma Kathy called her son and demanded to know what he was allowing her grandchildren to watch on television. Mr. Doe lamented that he had heard an identical recollection only a few days prior. Initially, the two chalked it up to an overactive imagination. Yet the more Grandma Kathy thought about it, the more little John's story perplexed her. What kind of TV show would feature some of the ludicrous topics that the boy was describing? Even more chilling was the idea that she might have some kind of doppelganger assuming her identity in order to abduct innocent victims. With those particular thoughts in mind, Kathy decided to share a haunting experience of her own. Only a year before, she had gone on a camping trip within close proximity to where little John's ordeal occurred. In the morning, she awoke face down in the dirt. Somehow, she had been inexplicably removed from the sleeping bag within her tent and transferred a short distance away. Upon rousing, she felt an intense pain at the base of her neck. 2 puncture wounds were present, and the surrounding skin was red and inflamed. Another friend who accompanied her on the excursion suffered a matching affliction. The pair originally attributed these injuries to a possible spider bite. Both Kathy and her travel companion became violently ill. In fact, she was so sick that she could not even muster the strength to pack her things. Her mind raced as she desperately tried to recall what happened mere hours ago. Only one thing surfaced: glowing red eyes. While she was drifting into slumber, she remembered seeing several creatures gazing through the darkness. At the time, she assumed they were produced by a herd of deer. Following this traumatizing outing, Kathy felt completely drained of her creativity and emotions. Several months would pass before she felt like her old self again. Admittedly, Grandma Cappy would have dismissed her episode had little John not come forward with his first-hand encounter. Now, listeners to this channel are no doubt familiar with the legends and lore pertaining to Mount Shasta that have existed throughout the centuries. We've done a video about it. The indigenous peoples of the area chronicled a fallen race of prehistoric giants that were...
Okay.
Anyway, he goes on, but it's just some crazy shit. You know what I mean? You're in your slumber, in your sleeping bag, in a slumber, you know, and then you're not anymore when you wake up.
Right. Let's acknowledge a few people over here in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna shout everybody out. I was watching the video and the fucking viewers were climbing.
Yep.
We got
a few people over there.
Your boy
Kukashuku Papajango, Vince. We'll say Vince.
That's a little bit easier on the tongue.
A little bit easier. The Good Stuff Comics Gators over there. Grandmaster UV's over there. Hello.
What's up, Grandmaster?
Todd was there earlier, but he had to go on an errand. So yeah, later, Todd.
We got my man 24 Eyes.
Yep. Outcast Owls Live. All right. Rick Sailor's over there.
Good Stuff.
Yep. Aaron just showed up. Lazy. But oh well. Yeah.
Rick, what's up, man? Horse, Aaron.
Yeah, lazy man. Lazy. Goodness.
Oh, what's he doing?
I don't know. I just call him lazy just for the heck of it. That's pretty rude. Pretty crazy. There's always been like
Pops
really strange.
Yep.
Hey Pops. There's always been some like really strange disappearances over the years. I got a listing here of 20 people who mysteriously disappeared, 20 famous people. Some of them are pretty recent. Like this listing has the first one's like Amelia Earhart. I'm sorry, Amelia. No, first one's actually D.B. Cooper. Sorry, D.B. Cooper. You know him. We pretty much, I don't know. He jumped out of that plane and he's just been missing ever since. So who knows?
Good Stuff just did a show about it, how it's connected to comic books. That story.
Right.
The name could be from a comic book that was famous in Europe during that time period or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was a Far Side cartoon that had D.B. Cooper like landing in the air, and there's a Rottweiler farm, and all these dogs are eagerly waiting on him. So that was his theory. Amelia Earhart, she disappeared in 1939.
That long ago?
Well, that's when that's the last time that they she's declared dead in 39, but she disappeared in 37. Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh shit, I forgot Shadowhawk, man.
Yeah, don't forget Shadowhawk. There's a Harold Holt, who's the Prime Minister of Australia, the 17th Prime Minister. He disappeared. But they think he was eaten by a shark, maybe. Of course, Jimmy Hoffa. Everybody knows Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, I had a video for that I was going to play.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
All right, let me find that one.
All right.
But I thought they had some new evidence on Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, there's been they found a woman's shoe on this little atoll out in the Pacific, about around the vicinity where her plane would have flown, and they found like a woman's shoe, a European woman's shoe, and they I don't know if they were able to find trace DNA evidence, but they were able to at least there's a cobbler's market like led back to where Amelia Earhart would have gotten her clothing. So they assumed that was her shoe. So the prevailing theory now is that the plane crashed and she wound up on a deserted island. So that's at least that's the theory. I
can't remember if I said Aaron.
Yeah, you did. I had family over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aaron. You had family over, man.
All right.
That's up, dude.
All right, I got this video I was going to play about Hoffa. I think it's updated information where, it's more bullshit where people say, oh, I think he's under that garbage can, or he's under the 20, the 10, under the whatever the goal at the football stadium, wherever the hell.
Meadowlands, under the 50-yard line of the Meadowlands.
Yeah, the 50-yard line,
Yeah. That's been
unsolved for decades. Jimmy Hoffa, the iconic Teamsters Union chief, disappearing in 1975 without a trace. Authorities now indicating they're breaking new ground in the search under a New Jersey bridge. Maura Barrett has that story.
So this is a strike-breaking, union-busting bill.
Tonight, the FBI might be a step closer to solving one of the biggest mysteries in modern American history. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? The Bureau telling NBC News that they've obtained a warrant to search an area beneath this bridge in New Jersey, between Newark and Jersey City. While the FBI did not explicitly name Hoffa in their statement, the Detroit field office, which leads the Hoffa investigation, was part of this search. The New York Times reporting that this search launched after a tip from the son of a mafia associate on his deathbed.
I would be very happy to have our legal counsel here.
Hoffa was a powerful union leader, growing the Teamsters into a major force in American politics. But during his leadership, the union grew entangled with the American mafia.
The mafia made sure that Jimmy Hoffa was beholden to them through use of the union's health and welfare funds, through the pension funds, through the general fund, and through the general corruption that was created by Jimmy Hoffa.
This made him and the union the target of congressional hearings.
That there has been misuse of union funds, misappropriation of union funds, that there have been gangsters and hoodlums that have taken over unions.
He was sentenced to 13 years in federal prison for jury tampering, fraud, and conspiracy.
Teamster boss James Hoffa surrenders to U.S. Marshals,
but continued to control the union from prison for years. In July of 1975, Hoffa was seen waiting in this car before meeting with 2 mob bosses in Michigan. He was never seen again.
James Hoffa is missing. The family of the former Teamsters Union president and ex-convict reported Hoffa missing early today.
For the past 40 years, I've been trying to figure out what happened to this guy.
This search, the latest in a series across Michigan, California, and New Jersey over the years.
It looks like the Jimmy Hoffa mystery will continue after what investigators thought was the most solid lead they'd had in years.
If you got fuel for your homes, fuel for your industries, a truck brought it to you.
Hoffa inspired the focus of several movies. Now, under the Pulaski Skyway, FBI forensic investigators collected evidence from what used to be a landfill. Those soil samples and other materials dug up from the site are now being analyzed.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything supernatural about Hoffa's death.
No.
It's pretty easy to figure out what happened.
Yeah, that's definitely an easier one. Got a few more on the list right quick. Henry Hudson, who was one of the early explorers of America. He disappeared after his boat was left adrift. And then Zaria Chamberlain, who is the daughter of Linda Chamberlain, who was accused of killing her daughter. But she said a dingo took her baby. Remember that?
Yeah, a dingo took the baby.
Yeah. It's a famous movie about it. Crying Tonight, I think is the name of it. But they discovered her corpse like later on. And it was definitely had. But that was the whole dingo took my baby thing. That was her. Sean Flynn was the son of Lily Damiata and and Errol Flynn. He disappeared in 1970. But he was like, Errol Flynn's son.
Who's Errol Flynn?
Errol Flynn was a famous actor from the 1920s. Anyway, Oscar Rosita Acosta, who's a activist. There's really no. They disappeared in Mexico, so there's pretty much anybody. It was Hunter S. Thompson's friend. He disappeared in America or in Mexico. Anybody disappears in Mexico, like Ambrose Bierce, it's pretty much guaranteed they were killed by cartels or something down there. Aaron Burr's eldest child, Theodosia Burr Austin, disappeared. That was she was like sailing on a ship to New York and disappeared. Solomon Northup, who's the guy who's the 12 Years a Slave guy.
Yeah.
Who wrote that book. He disappeared in Canada in 1857.
Really?
Yep. Heinrich Müller was one of the Hitler's right-hand man. Disappeared in May the 1st, 1945, right the day before Hitler took his life. So he's probably in Argentina. Glenn Miller, who did In the Mood and a lot of was like a rock star. You know, he was a real famous musical guy. He disappeared flying across the English Channel in 1944. Dorothy Arnold, Manhattan heiress and socialite, disappeared in New York City, December 1910. She was 25 years old. Just disappeared right off the street. Nobody knows what happened to her. Jean Spangler, American model, dancer, small part actress in early television and Hollywood movies, disappeared in 1949. She was like really rising famous actress, and she just disappeared. So that's a few other ones. Frank Morris from Alcatraz, one of the escapees from Alcatraz. Yeah,
wasn't there more than one? Wasn't like 2, 3?
There's 3. But only Morris and his 2 brothers were able to carry it out. So
I think one of them might have sent a letter or a note to the FBI years later, like laughing at them, basically proving that they were still alive or something.
Right.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, there's that letter claimed he was 83 years old and had cancer, but said he died. That he died in 2008. His brother died 2011, but the letter couldn't be verified. So, yeah, who knows? Jim Thompson, American businessman, disappeared in Thailand. There's no doubt. I mean, anybody that disappears in third world country, you know, I mean, it's pretty much, yeah. But Richley Edwards, a guy who's was part of the Manic Street Preachers, this Welsh music or rock and roll band. He just disappeared. Found his abandoned car in a parking lot with a dead battery.
Oh shit!
Said there's evidence somebody had been living in it. It was never proven whether or not it was him, but he just disappeared completely. Philip Taylor Kramer, American bass guitar player, played for Iron Butterfly, and he disappeared. And
a lot of la vida, baby.
That's the one. That's the one. Yep. Also, I can't remember which one. It was a member of Loverboy. Also disappeared mysteriously. Really? The original bass player. Yeah. I can't remember his name though. But Bison Dealey, who's a big old NBA basketball player. He disappeared in 2002 off a ship. So he probably fell into the ocean. Who knows?
That happens a lot. Yeah, I forgot about that. Where a couple hey honey, do you want to go on a cruise? And then at night they go up to the bow of the boat or whatever and just push her over. And then I don't know. I went to bed early. She was there. I don't know. They went for a walk. I don't know.
Right. Natalie Holloway is still missing. May 30th, 2005. But the guy that she was last seen with is later confirmed to be a serial killer. So there's no she's not going to resurface. It's pretty guaranteed.
Girls always pick the worst people to date, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, look at all those women that said, Hey, Ted, what's with the cast on your arm? You know?
Can you help me with my books, my school books? My car's right over there.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he did. That cast thing worked for him like gangbusters.
Oh yeah, that's genius. That's absolutely genius. To be honest,
yeah, he got like 10 of those co-eds. So he loved.
That was like handcuff him to the door and like beat him in the head or something. What do you do?
Yeah, crazy something shit like that.
And then bring her to like a middle of nowhere in the woods where she can like scream as loud as she could and no one would hear her.
I tell you, man. It's pretty crazy. It's just I guess there's like three. I guess you could sum it up to this. Act of God, basically disappearance, but due to act of God, or disappearance for misadventure. Somebody else was involved, or a disappearance. From your own stupidity.
What
like getting in bed with the Bob.
You remember Flight 19?
Yeah, Flight 19. That was the Malaysia Flight 19. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, this is a lot. This was from before that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Flight 19. Oh, wait. That's the
I was going to play a video about it.
Flew through the Bermuda Triangle and disappeared, right?
Yeah, you'll remember as soon as you see. I'm going to play this clip.
You're muted, man.
I'm muted.
Oh, I can't hear you, dude. Is that might be me? That might be me. Hold on. All right.
Got it?
Setting audio. Change to Yep. There we go.
I think it's just on your end.
Yeah, it's on my end. Yeah, my Bluetooth just shuts out sometimes. What
happened to your famous microphone that you got there, like that studio mic?
It's right here, man.
Why don't you use that?
Well, it does have a jack. It does have a jack on it, but I've never been able to get it work with the mic at the same time for some reason.
I'm gonna play that Flight 19.
Yeah, okay, do that. That's on me, guys. That's on me.
FT28. This is Fort Lauderdale.
Do you read me? FT28 to Fort Lauderdale. Do you have a fix yet?
The myth of the Bermuda Triangle began on the 5th of December, 1945, when a group of 5 aircraft mysteriously disappeared.
Everything is wrong. Even the ocean looks different.
Flight 19 was a routine training mission of 5 Avenger torpedo bombers. The 3-seater Avenger was the US Navy's top ship and submarine killer. It could carry up to 2,000 pounds of ordnance and had a range of 1,000 miles. The Avenger was robust and reliable. The doomed Flight 19 left Fort Lauderdale at 2:10 on a clear winter's afternoon. 4 hours after they took off, they vanished into thin air. Fearing the worst, a naval air search rescue plane took off into the darkening skies. 20 minutes later, at 7:47 p.m., the rescue plane also disappeared. After a massive search, no wreckage was found. And nothing was ever heard from them again. Until now. Over the last 60 years, this mystery has sustained the wildest theories about what strange forces could be at work out here. Legend has it that the triangle covers the seas between Miami, the island of Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, an area of 1.5 million square miles. Since 1492, when Columbus first sailed into the area and saw strange lights in the sky, the list of unexplainable disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle has grown. Thousands of ships and planes have simply vanished. No warning, no distress calls, no wreckage. Richard Weiner has written many best-selling books about these strange disappearances.
We don't know our own planet. We know more about the moon. We're probably learning more about Mars than we know of our own planet. We know about the Earth, but we don't know about the sea.
The boatyards of Key West hum with stories about those who were lost in the triangle.
Yeah, you don't want to get lost in the triangle, Bunny.
No, you do not. You do not. I've heard many theories over the years about what happened with those guys. I mean, I heard that they passed through a crack into a parallel dimension. I've heard that the electromagnetics got a hold of them, that there's like an electromagnetic spike in that area, which would have screwed their instrumentation up and also, caused the atmospheric effects. So I mean,
there was the last transmission that they made was kind of weird or something.
Yeah. They said that the sky was strange. The ocean was strange. They didn't know what was going on. So yeah,
triangles are fun to
swim in. Yeah. Yeah, you do that. You do that, man. You do that, Aaron. Yeah, it's just it's a really strange phenomenon. It's been going on for generations now. The same area. Like there's this ship I was going to bring up, Mary Celeste. Let me go ahead and read it right quick. Hold on. The Mary Celeste was she was found adrift and deserted. in the Atlantic Ocean off the Azores Island, which would have put them have passed through the triangle, by the way. She was found disheveled but seaworthy condition under partial sail. A lifeboat was missing. Last entry to the log was dated 10 days earlier, as she left New York City for Genoa on Genoa, Italy, I guess, November 7th. Still amply provisioned when she was found. The cargo of denatured alcohol was intact, and the captain and crew's personal belongings were undisturbed. None of those who've been on board were ever seen or heard from again. And this is 1872. But yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. It's nothing new.
No. The fascinating thing about that was that they found like food that was on like tables and stuff that was partially eaten and just abandoned, and it, like open wine and stuff like that, things that you just wouldn't have like turned and run off from, unless something terrified you so bad you all like dropped everything you were doing and ran to the lifeboats. So who knows? But the odd thing is, there's a maritime policy that when you abandon a ship, so you can leave the possibility open that the ship will eventually be recovered. You basically set the sails to change into the wind, whatever wind takes it, right? That way, contrary wind doesn't like snap the sail off, right? And when she was found, all the riggings was secure, which means that they hadn't rigged her for future recovery, which would have been odd for sailors with that much experience. So
yeah, it reminds me of all those ghost ships and stuff that they talk about on the news. It's just like a little yacht or catamaran is just like, just chilling in the ocean, and it's just very strange stuff.
It's a lot of things going on this planet we don't understand. I mean, you lost that Thailand flight, MH370.
Yeah, that was just, what, a few years ago?
Yeah, that was just a few years ago. Hold on, let me look at find the exact time.
They still never found any records.
2014. Yeah, it disappeared March 2014 with 239 passengers and crew on board. And never found any wreckage, never found a black box, never found anything.
Man.
So, but yeah, the final report said the plane was deliberately turned around before vanishing and may have been hijacked. So that was the theory. But it was a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people from 14 nations. And it's never been found. Never found even a reason for it. Some people say government cover up that it got shot down. I mean, it's just. But if it got shot down, where's the wreckage? They never found wreckage. But of course, the people searching
for it. Black box not working.
Yeah, people that were searching for it were all military, though. So.
I think there was a high-profile person on the flight, or had some important patent or something, or I don't know, or invented something. There was somebody strange that was on that flight. That was people say the conspiracy theory was it was because of that one person that was on the flight.
Well, bear in mind this is 2014. There's look down satellite covering all the surface area of the United States. So somebody would have had eyes on it when it disappeared, and yet they've never, just been made aware of another missing person. Willard is gone. Okay. Moving on. We're
not going to go there.
I'm not going to take that bait. Anyway, I was going to bring something up. There's this group that's really doing incredible things right now. It's called Adventures with Purpose. They're on YouTube right now. And
sounds like a porn site.
Adventures with Purpose sounds like a porn site.
No.
To who, man?
What? Never had adventures, Bunny?
I've had adventures, but not with purpose. I mean, that's weird. Anyway, not a porn site. Okay. Clarified. Not a porn site. It's this group of guys who were individual like divers who dived on wrecks and things like that. That just decided they're going to like offer their services to the public. They just got an RV and they got like a raft that they could use, that they could unload, and they had side scanning radar, which was not like used by everybody. I mean, they had some like pretty sophisticated stuff, and it just basically did videos. Oh, okay. All right, we'll check it out later, Hojo. But we just started doing some videos, right? And they, hey, Mrs. Good Stuff.
I miss good stuff.
But what they would do is that they just say, if you have a missing person and they went missing like near a body of water or something like that, just let us know. And there's one of their latest videos was really fascinating because they were looking for this lady who'd been missing for 90 months. No, it was 90 days. She was 90 days missing. Okay. I mean, missing for better part of a year. And they couldn't figure out what happened to her. She just disappeared right out in the middle of the open. They did a ping, cell phone ping or whatever. And she was like at a place that they didn't expect her to be. And they checked every body of water they could find. And then they just kept investigating. And they finally got information that she'd been in a fender bender the day of. And they asked the cop, where did she go afterwards? And the cop said that she told him that she took a right. And so they checked that along the path that she would have taken, and they found there was this like a couple retaining ponds that were like at this like it's a complex of building, or it's like a housing development, and it turns out the housing development was just brand new, and so they were like driving through this housing development. And they got to like this big pond that was put out there that was supposed to be stocked with like fish or whatever for the people in the housing development to use. And they asked the guy local, and they said, how long's these houses been here? And he's like, oh, we've only been here since like October. And she disappeared in August, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, well, what was here before? And he's like, oh, I came out and we checked out our property before. The only thing here was this dirt road and that pond over there. And so they checked the pond, and it turns out that her green Kiosoa was at the bottom of that pond. And these people have basically been living right next to this woman's graveyard, basically. And they were able to pull it out and give her family some closure. But they found 23 missing persons, cold cases. Some of them going back as far as 14 or 15 years or so.
All from diving, underwater stuff?
All from diving underwater. And they found all sorts of weird stuff, man. Everywhere they go, they'll find like people, abandoned vehicles on the bottom of rivers and lakes and oceans and stuff. And it's from people that are destroyed their cars and for insurance payouts, but they'll find like one or two extra vehicles every time they dive, But it's amazing. These people just disappear out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of open, and when they're there and then they're not. And it turns out they check these bodies of water, and evidently it's a lot more common than we know, where people would just drive Especially most of the people they discover or they find are either people that were like emotionally distraught, or people who are suffering from some sort of dementia, and it's really if you think about it, you're like a one missed guardrail away from dumping your car in the middle of a lake or a river or something. I mean, it's a lot more easier than what we want to think.
That'd be a good way to kill yourself. You just like slam down your gas pedal and then just go off a cliff or a overhang or whatever and just go right into the lake.
Well, Shelley Lopresti was mentioning something that they had just found a guy who was her principal at one of her schools that she really liked. Everybody really loved the guy. And they found him, and I asked her, was it Adventures with Purpose? And she said, yeah, it was Adventures with Purpose. And I watched the video, and evidently there was like this one body of water where he would just go. He was losing his faculties, and he knew he was. And there was this body of water where he would go to kind of like to chill out. It was like the family knew about it, and these Adventures with Purpose guys had gone and looked at that body of water multiple times, but they kept going back because they just kept telling this guy that he was there, and so they found this new apparatus that was using some kind of electromagnetic pulse instead of radar, and they were like trying it out. They decided, let's try this out. Look for Ralph is his name, and they got a signal back from right under the dock where they were, because they'd been looking kind of like out in the area, but they hadn't looked like right directly underneath the dock. And what they think had happened was they think he got confused and drove out onto the dock, and then his car went off the side of the dock, and it went straight down. And that's why nobody found him, because he was literally under the dock. And
that's not where I want to be found when I die.
No,
I don't want to be under the dock.
No. Well, I mean, they when they raise these cars out of these places, man. I mean, that's their body. There's a body in there, and it's really tough to. But they had 23 people they found so far, and the
best way to go, I think, would be just to die in your sleep.
Yeah, well, that's true. Either that or piss off Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Oh, that's another show.
We could do an entire show on
my channel would probably get struck and removed.
Well, you want to do that? You want to do Arkansas next time?
I don't think we can do that show, Bunny.
Oh, you don't? Oh, come on, man.
Just remove our channel, I think.
Well, either that or we all die from us. Like,
we could do a private showing where we don't broadcast it or save it.
Well, we could like die along in our car with a bullet in the back of our head, and the local police will roll it a suicide.
Yeah, I kind of want to make it to 50, Bunny.
Come on, man. Live a little.
The thing about that list is it can get bigger.
That's true. It is increasing. Every day. Anyway, this is hilarious. All right, man. Anyway, so you got anything else that you have?
Yeah, I was gonna play David Paulides' video. It kind of gives you like a overview of these missing cases and how they're different from the, like a kid getting snatched up by some predator. These are actually missing people. That's strange phenomenon where you don't know. It's a mystery.
Right.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, play it, man.
Every year, hundreds of people are reported missing in national parks and forests, many of them children. And most are eventually found, whether dead or alive. But a small percentage of the cases, some right here in Oregon, are never solved. The mystery those cases present has one man wondering if there's a common denominator behind the disappearances that have search and rescue crews continuing to scratch their heads.
And we turned around, and here was this little toddler walking out of the fog with absolutely no clothes on at all.
Well, it's troubling. Every month in almost every state, people go into the wilderness and don't come out.
Stories like that are what fueled David Paulides. Forever rifling newspaper archives and badgering federal agencies for public records, he's discovered more than 400 cases of people who wandered into the wilderness but never came back.
There are so many missing kids in Oregon, it's ridiculous.
Accounts of children, people, vanishing, seemingly swallowed up by the many endless forests across America, or even later found in ways that defy logic.
These were unusual things that don't make sense, that happen to cluster together in 3 to 4, sometimes as many as 20, 30 people missing at one location.
He's mapped out what appear to be more than 30 clusters of vanishings in forests and national parks coast to coast. Some of those clusters and cases right here in Oregon. All of them documented and described in his 2 books.
According to Oregon State Police, there are 41 missing children in Oregon.
And now also in the movie Missing 411, releasing in a couple of months.
In a lot of these cases, search and rescue, or the volunteers searching people, have already gone over certain areas, not once, not twice, but even dozens of times. And then the child is found there, maybe a year, maybe a few years later.
The search coordinators themselves are baffled by it too. The ones they don't think is criminal in nature.
Once a cop, Paulides got hooked on the inexplicable, intriguing, and mysterious missing persons cases only after a government employee knocked on the door of his hotel near Park Service land and confided in him, sharing stories about people disappearing at national parks like Crater Lake and Yosemite.
The ranger described to me, if you were standing straight up and you just had your shirt or just had your pants on and you melted directly into your pants, that's what it looked like to him. The pants were laying on the ground in a very neat pile.
Just one of many accounts in his books that leave search crews wondering if they'll ever find closure.
And after 7 years of research, we found that they replicate themselves in these geographical clusters around the U.S. One of those clusters being Crater Lake.
10 years ago, Coin 6 covered the search and rescue effort for 8-year-old Samuel Belkey, who had a mild form of autism and feared loud noises and bright lights. So when Sammy darted away from his father near Cleetwood Cove at Crater Lake, the many searchers could not use the customary air horns and whistles to try and find him.
Well, Sammy's family has let us know that one of the things he likes to do is to curl up in small spaces. Any of these spaces where you could fit a small person are places that we'd want to be searching.
When him and his dad went up to Crater Lake and they were on a little vacation, the circumstances behind his disappearance and the subsequent inability of the Park Service to find him is unusual. And they brought in canines. Canines couldn't pick up a scent. They brought in air support. They couldn't find him. A multi-day search couldn't locate the boy.
8 years earlier, another 8-year-old boy, Derek Engebretson, vanished from this spot, a densely wooded mountainside above Upper Klamath Lake, not far from Crater Lake National Park.
Now we got a dog up here, I guess. We took some of my brother's clothes, and we got a dog up here that's gonna try to sniff him out or something.
Search and rescue crews spent more than 10,000 hours looking for Derek, but still haven't found a single clue.
When Derek was out there with his dad and his grandpa, they somehow or another, he just walked around, didn't go far. There was snow on the ground. They should have been able to track him, and he vanishes.
That's another case that you search an area, you have good information, you go right to where they were, and they're just not there. I mean, after all this time, they still do a yearly search for that. The search team goes out and does a training, and they'll go back and search that area every year.
Scott Lucas is the search and rescue coordinator at Oregon's Office of Emergency Management. He says it's only 1 or 2% of the missions they launch that don't return answers, but they average about 900 searches a year.
Multnomah County coordinator, he told me personally a couple months ago he's baffled by the ones he can't find. He just, where do they go? Where do they disappear to? Or they just don't want to be found.
Yeah, so you could just, your kid could be right there, and then you turn your head, and then he's just gone.
Right.
And sometimes these kids got disabilities. You hear like that kid had a disability. It's either one way or the other. Either person has a disability or something different about them, unique, or they're like super smart or like top of their other class or whatever, really good at something, highly intelligent. So it's either one way or the other. He's found when this David Pilates, when he's been doing this research and all these books, and the weather will change after someone goes missing. It's like you said, strange, but the weather, like a storm will come in out of nowhere, like soon after the missing person goes missing, which kind of like ruins the search efforts. And the dogs, they do weird things, like they'll just plop down there and not go any further, or just they can't, the scent just ends for them, whatever. They do weird things, these dogs, in these cases. I don't think these cases are someone, it's not somebody just going running by and snatching somebody's kid. That's not the case here. Like the one in the snow there. How isn't there any tracks from these kids running in the snow? You know what I mean? How was he even found?
Right.
How could you go missing in the snow?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you can
bizarre.
go missing in an avalanche or something. I mean, but there'd be a tracks for the kid. You know what I mean? It leads somewhere.
Right.
It's always these weird circumstances, like he said. Like years later, the body could be found on the same spot. Sometimes, like the clothing looks like someone just left it there, like it's like nicely neat and like folded or whatever. The shoes are like next to each other, just put down like you'd put in your house. It's just so fucking strange.
Well, considering that the American parks system was created by Theodore Roosevelt, who was a Freemason, one of the first openly open Freemasons, American president. So who knows? I mean, they selected those. They selected those places for a reason. They were, most of the time they had something to do with Indian burial grounds and stuff. So
I don't know. But I'm staying out of national parks just in case.
Well, most of them are owned by China or Bill Gates now, so it is what it is. So it is what it is. Hey, anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the day. I think we exhausted the topic. Got any ideas for the next week?
I gotta think about it.
All right.
Maybe ask what you guys want to do and pick a popular one. I will have a lot of ideas, you know what I mean? But as far as what you guys want to do.
All right. But, so Arkansas's out. We're not doing Arkansas? No,
we're not going to go there.
All right. How about
some subjects we cannot cover, unfortunately, because we're not living in a free America like we think we are.
Okay. How about the secret societies? How about that? Will that work?
Secret societies.
I'm
not super knowledgeable on secret societies. But
you got a week to bone up, man.
Yeah, I'd have to fucking research that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just do ones that you already know. So
yeah, I'm into different stuff. I'll get a hold of you and we'll pick out something. Maybe Hojo and good stuff can come next time.
All right, Shadowpunk.
Well, you guys can pick the subject if it's reasonable.
Okay. All right. If you got an idea for a subject for next week, just make a comment below.
We'll see your ideas. What do you want to do? We already did UFOs. We did missing people, time travel.
Well, Hojo thinks that's a good one. Sniper's Free says Skywalker Ranch. So
Skinwalker Ranch. That's a good one.
Skinwalker Ranch. What the heck, Skinwalker Ranch?
Skinwalker Ranch is this place where a lot of strange shit goes on, like a lot of UFO sightings. I think it's like a portal to another dimension or whatever, to another maybe universe or whatever. I think it's like a portal there, and there's all this kind of strange phenomenon. There's even a show on History Channel.
Ah, okay.
About
Aaron Jordan says cryptid monsters. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like cryptids, like Lizard Man and Bigfoot's been done too much, but I like the different ones.
Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil is a good one.
Yep. Yeah. Let's schedule that one for next time. Let's do that one. I like that one. Cryptid monsters.
Yeah, because then we can go into different ones and not just talk about one. We could talk about Bigfoot as well.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what we'll do for next time. We'll do.
Even the Loch Ness monster would be a cryptid.
Yeah.
All
right,
the
you
Lizard
got
Man. That's my favorite. I like to talk about Lizard Man.
Yeah, I figured. All right, we're doing cryptids next week. All right, Jersey Devil. Yeah, we'll do Jersey Devil.
We could do Jersey Devil. You want to get on that, Aaron?
Yeah. Study that up, man. Mothman's really fascinating.
The Mothman and
the Mothman prophecies is really fascinating. I definitely want to delve into that. All right, that's what we're going to do next week.
The Chupacabra. Yep. All right, we got a show. That's going to be our show.
We got a show. All right, we're going to do cryptids next week. All right. Thank you guys for coming to check us out. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, go ahead and do so. So we'll do this again. Same cannabis time, same conspiracy channel. So let's go.
Same conspiracy channel. All right, see you later, guys.
All right, bye, guys.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale, and never tried it again.